Sorry about the wet hair, but I was getting ready for work and I just saw this had come in the mail. My Book Outlet summer clearance order. So Book Outlet had a summer clearance sale. They were clearing a whole bunch of stuff out in order to make room for new stock, and I took a little bit of an advantage of books being on sale. So I've already just popped the box open, but I haven't looked inside yet. Paper? More paper. Okay, on to the books. The first one I see is S for Doom by Piers Anthony. This is a book in the Xanth series. It's 30 something. And I just noticed, for some weird reason, there is tape on the book. Like, it's not on the cover, it's on the actual book. That's weird. I'm gonna have to see if I can try to get that off later. At least it's not on the cover though. If it was on the cover, it would have made me angry. S for Doom by Piers Anthony. This is one of the books that I was missing in the Xanth series, so this isn't a repurchase for the hardcovers like I've been trying to do. It's one that I actually didn't already own. And the next book is Luck of the Draw, also by Piers Anthony, also from the Xanth series, and also like a book 30 something in the series. This one doesn't look like it has tape on it. I don't know what was going on with that other one. I don't know if I've ever explained what the Xanth series is. It is essentially a land of magic that is on a peninsula, and sometimes it's like the border going into Italy, and sometimes it's the border going into Florida, and it's just different peninsulas. If it's considered a peninsula, that can be what the border to Xanth. So there's no telling where the border into Xanth is going to show up. But there's Xanth, which is the land of magic, and then there's Mundania, which is the real world. In Xanth, there's all kinds of puns, like there is a brass band, which is a band actually made out of brass. There's cottage cheese, is a cottage made out of cheese. One of my favorites is Catastrophe, is a trophy of the cat's rear end, to be nice about it. But it's one of my favorite series. It was one of my aunt's favorite series whenever she was a teenager, and it's a pretty old series, but it's continuing. Like, Piers Anthony's still putting out books for the series, even though the series started in the late 70s, early 80s. Very old series, actually continuing into a current series. It's currently going on, but it's one of my favorites. The next book I got is Red by Allison Cherry, and this is about a society that holds people who have red hair in a high regard, and it follows a girl whose red hair isn't real. And that's pretty much all I know about it, and it was really cheap, so I figured I'd try it out, and it sounded interesting. The next book I got on a bit of a whim because I already own this book in paperback, but I own the rest of the series in hardcover, and even though I haven't read them yet, I bought this one in hardcover to make it where my series matched. And that is Because It Is My Blood by Gabrielle Zevin. I've read Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac, and I loved it, so I'm hoping that I like this series. And I was very disappointed because I accidentally purchased the second book in paperback instead of hardcover, and the hardcovers have this cool chocolate bar on the cover, so of course I had to get them all to match, even though I haven't read the series yet. But it was only like $2, so yeah, if I like the series, at least I will have them all in matching covers. And it was going on their clearance blowout thing, so I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get it anymore in the hardcover, so I had to get it. The next book I got mainly because it was a retelling of a fairy tale, and that is Strands of Bronze and Gold by Jane Nickerson. It's the Bluebeard fairy tale retold, and I love fairy tale retellings, and I haven't read this fairy tale yet. I need to look up the fairy tale and read it before I read this to see how well the book does with the fairy tale. The next book I have is Romeo Redeemed by Stacey J, and this is the sequel to Juliet Immortal, which I got in my book outlet blowouts haul. Since it finally went on sale, I decided to pick it up. The next book is book 3 of a trilogy that I already have the first book of, and I love these authors, so even though I haven't read the first book yet, I knew that I was going to have to get this. And when I saw it on sale, I had to get it. And that is Rage of the Dragon by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. And this is book 3 in the Dragon Ships. I guess it's book 3 in the Dragon Ships. It says Dragon Ships up there. But I have book 1 and I have book 3, so now all I have to get is book 2 and I can read the series. One thing about the Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman books is I totally get lost in their stories. So I have to have all the books before I can start reading them. I know it's kind of weird, but I know I've read a series of theirs before, so I know how their writing gets me, and it's one of those, once I start reading, I can't put them down, and if I put the books down, I get in a horrible reading slump, and I just can't read anything else, so I have to get the whole thing before I can start reading them. The next book I have is Cinderella's Dress by Shauna Slayton, and this book is about a family who passes down Cinderella's dress, generation to generation. There's people who are trying to steal the dress, and it just sounded interesting and it was on sale, so I picked it up. The next book I have is Stolen Nights by Rebecca Maisel, and this is a book is a Vampire Queen novel, which I already have Infinite Days, and I think this goes along with it, but I don't know if it's the second book or if it's a third book, but it was on sale and I decided to pick it up. The next book I have is Arclight by Jocelyn L. McQueen. I almost picked this up in hardcover, but the hardcover was $2 and this one was $1.25. I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, but I've heard a lot of people being interested in it. I haven't heard very many people reading it though, and I don't know very much about what it's about. I know that I heard a lot of people talking about it and I knew what it was about and it sounded interesting when I heard people talking about it, but I haven't looked at the back. I don't really want to look at the back, but I haven't heard people reading it, so I just picked up the paperback instead of the hardcover because it was 75 cents cheaper. And the last book I have is Kissing Shakespeare by Pamela Mingle, and this is a book about time travel and traveling back into Shakespeare's time period, and this girl who's obsessed with Shakespeare and ends up traveling back in time to actually meet Shakespeare, which I really like Shakespeare's work, so I figured I'd try it out, and it was on sale. After shipping and everything, all 11 of these books cost me $30.38, so that's really not bad at all. That's less than $3 per book, and the Piers Anthony books were $2.99 each, so those were $3 per book. That's awesome, at least I think. That's all my books that I got from Book Outlet, and that's all I have for this video, so I'll see you next time.